Now, I was telling you very early this morning that we have another distinction here in Connecticut. We are number one. Connecticut has once again been named the worst state in the entire nation to retirement. Can you imagine that? And State Senator Andrew Roraback is a regular with me in the morning. He checks up on a lot of these things that you don't hear about, but he gets them, he digs them out. Andrew, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Brad.
Thank you very much. I was talking about you and talking about this early this morning, and I don't see why this legislature, the governor, the lieutenant governor, can't sit down and say, look, people just cannot retire here. They can't afford it anymore. And what are the reasons, Senator? What are the reasons? Somebody said the unions. Somebody said, several other things, that we spend too much money. We have too many programs, that our welfare program is one of the tops in the country. Well, what is it all about?
Well, for someone that's thinking of retiring here, the real issue is, can I afford Connecticut's tax burden? The company that did this analysis said it was a tie between Illinois and Connecticut, so they had to go to a runoff. And when they went to a runoff, they said, Connecticut's property taxes and income tax are higher than Illinois', so we get the prize for being the worst place to retire. If you've worked hard all your life and you have a pension, you think that maybe that pension wouldn't need to be taxed again. It's really taxing money that you've already earned throughout the course of a lifetime. But Connecticut has chosen to tax pension money. Our income tax is applied to everything. So when you retire, don't think that you have escaped the reach of the Connecticut tax man. You haven't, and that's why so many people are deciding the only way to beat the tax man is to move to Florida or North Carolina or Arizona. And we've seen it. We all know our friends that have chosen to leave the state or establish their residency elsewhere because it makes sense financially.
But Senator Roraback, can't somebody go to the leadership and say, hey, why not, for retirees, knock off the income tax on their retirement? Why can't somebody start fighting for this?
And I think that you're going to see, certainly I, for one, and other members of the Senate Republican caucus are going to see if we can make some sense this year. And when an objective third-party entity evaluates Connecticut and says, you are at the bottom of the heap, if that's not an impetus for us to do the right thing and to make some changes to make Connecticut a more attractive place to retire, what is? So I think the Republicans in the legislature will be doing their level best to extend an olive branch and offer some relief to the people that are thinking of staying here or thinking of leaving here. But I'm afraid it may fall on deaf ears. This Democratic governor and the Democratic legislature have done nothing but spend, and give favors to the unions, and that's why we're in the pickle that we're in.
Well, again, it's a shame. It truly, truly is. And the way we are set up politically now, if this was some other state, they really would. They'd reelect other people. If they knew that the other side was willing to bite the bullet and do this to make it easier for those that are retiring to stay in the state. But I don't know why. Why would they want to lose these people? That I don't understand.
Because it's more important for them to keep all of the people that are relying on checks from the government of the state of Connecticut. And at this point, we've almost reached a tipping point in this state, Brad, where more people are receiving help from the state of Connecticut than are paying taxes into the state of Connecticut. So we, the taxpayers, are almost in the minority, and that's not a very healthy thing. We're gonna go down a downward spiral as time goes on. We've made a lot of promises that are going to be very hard for us to keep, and if we can't begin to change the rules, some of this pension padding and the like, people are not going to stay in this.
What about? Has anybody recently checked? Look, there's nobody more for helping somebody that needs help than I am. I'll be right out there, heading it up. But there are people that just depend on this and don't get motivated to do anything else. Has anybody checked the welfare rolls and where we are? compared to some of these other states?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody has checked. I don't have those figures. I don't have those figures at the tip of my tongue. But I think that Connecticut has a lot of poverty in our cities, and I think one of the reasons we have a lot of poverty is because there's not a lot of opportunity. And the reason there's not a lot of opportunity is because our state government has caused so many businesses to pull up stakes and leave. We're not doing ourselves any favors when we beat up business, when we pass things like paid sick leave, and it doesn't help people that need the help the most. The people that are living in poverty need opportunities, and we don't seem to get it in Hartford, that the way they get opportunities is by creating a climate where businesses can flourish.
Well, again, Senator Roraback, when you just take a look, and I'm no financial whiz or anything like that, don't pretend to be, but just common sense, when you take a look at what we spend and what we tax, and I can't believe, I remember when we fought the state income tax, and we almost won, but we didn't. And that was going to be the lifesaver. We would never have to worry about increased taxes again.
Right.
Well, look where we are.
And I think at that time everyone said if the income tax becomes a license to spend, that's going to be the beginning of the end for the state of Connecticut. And that's exactly what it's become. But the income tax isn't enough. Now the governor wants online gaming, and it looks like he's in favor of these red light cameras, the cameras that are going to be at every intersection, which to me is another bad way to raise revenue and a bad statement about the relationship between government and the people. When people have been asked in other cities, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they said, let's ask the people if they want red light cameras, and the people voted no. We don't want government looking over our shoulder 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
But it could happen and probably will happen here in Connecticut. Well, it's this little bit here, a little bit there, and that's why we're in this spot. But I truly feel bad. I really feel bad for those who have worked hard, who love this state, but just say, hey, look, the way it's going, I can't stay here anymore. And places like Florida, they're going to be the beneficiaries. North Carolina, there's some great spots to live around the country. And unfortunately, some of our retirees are not going to be able to make it, and they're going to have to go elsewhere. It's too bad. Well, Senator, I appreciate you checking on these things for my radio audience. You're kind of a regular, and I look forward to talking with you about this again and see what kind of progress can be made. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate the opportunity. Now it's time to shovel the driveway up here in Goshen.
Hey, how much snow did you get?
Well, we got about 2 inches of slush out there. It's raining now, but it's definitely looked like winter this morning.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck to you. You bet, Senator. 8:30.